now.
So good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, May 6th. The time is 6:33 p.m. This is the town work session. And we'll start off with roll call, starting with Ward 1, Commissioner Young.
Present.
Henderson, present.
Ward 3, Commissioner Wheatley is present.
Ward 4, Commissioner Gibbs present.
Echo.
Brooks at large present.
I think I'm gonna just turn it.
And you might have to turn the speaker down.
Turn down a little bit. Turn down.
Hello? Hello? It's still an echo. Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner Gibbons. What's his name? His daughter is here. It's still an echo, slight. Okay. Well, we'll just keep going. Alright, so... has everyone had a chance to review the agenda? Are there any edits, corrections, additions? Hearing none.
This is Brooks. I haven't had a chance.
Commissioner Brooks, can you speak up? I couldn't hear you.
She's gonna address.
Yeah, I said in all fairness, I haven't had a chance to review it, so no.
Okay, that's fine. We understand. So we'll just go to the next agenda item. Excuse me? I'm not in the Zoom. I'm not in the Zoom. Not me. I'm not on Zoom. So, first item tonight is the public hearing, and this is for the taxable year beginning July 1, 2025.
Point of order. That starts at 7 o'clock. That's the way it was
So why
advertised.
is it at the top?
Because that's usually how it's advertised.
Well, it doesn't say it starts at 7, but that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
So we'll just go to the next item, the new website.
Yes. Well, we're very excited to launch the brand new Town of Cottage City website. Today it went live at 5 o'clock p.m. We have put a lot of time and effort into putting this together for the town, and we hope that you find this to be a way to become more accessible with your town government. We've got several key components on the website. You now can easily find the news, events, our town newsletter, agendas and minutes, our legislation, online payments. If you need to pay for something, you can actually do it now through the website. Our business licenses, we have resources for the community. Our charter and code are easily to be found, as well as access to our Green Team website and community garden, and a way to get in touch. We've got a nice staff directory. One of the best features of our website is down in the bottom left-hand corner. You will actually be able to transfer this into multiple languages. So you actually can now change it into Spanish. So this, I don't know if, but now we have the multiple languages that now this can convert it over to. So that's one of the key features that we're really excited about, having our new site. We also we've updated the commissioners, but one of the features I really want to showcase is our report of concern. Let me transfer it back over to English. One second, this laptop is very touchy. Bring it back to English. Okay. So here we are actually also launching our C-Click Fix. which is part of our code compliance, as well as, so if you have an issue around town and you need us to focus on that issue, you're able to come into See Click Fix and report it to us. And then what this does is this allows us to, in real time, track the progress of those service requests and those tickets. So we're very excited about this. So if you have a pothole or you see something that's not right in town and you want us to focus on it, you're able to come to this website and you're able to put in a request. And then that request gets funneled out to the various staff members to address those concerns. So we're real excited about this component and this was attributed to Commissioner Givens, who actually saw this down in Ocean City when he was down at MML Summer Conference. Also, what's great about this is in the report of concern area, you are now able to go online and actually report if you have a street light out with Pepco. You can go directly to the Pepco website and you're able to report your street light that might be out. So we're real happy about that. Also, let's say you have a water issue. You can come right here and you click report a water issue and this will direct you right to WSSC. So having this at your fingertips, I think, is going to be essential to how we function, and it's very exciting. We also have links to our social media. Our various departments are also listed. We also, of course, we're making sure that our legislation is up to date now with our all that we've done. We just spent a few days and we've gotten all of 2025 now updated. So here you can actually come in here now and see the ordinances and resolutions that have all been passed. So we are very excited about this. This is long overdue, and we're hoping that you all become more engaged to the town by using the new website. So I'll yield it back to you all for comments.
Yeah, I have one quick comment. So I'm in the website now. In the old version, the language was at the top instead of the bottom, and now when I clicked on it, it disappeared. So it's not even there anymore. So,
You mean the language changing? Okay.
it's not even there.
Okay.
It just disappeared. And I think it should be at the top, not at the bottom.
Okay. Happy to make that change.
Yeah. And that's it for me. We'll start with Ward 1.
We will be.
Could you have whoever's talking to the mic, please?
Do I need to repeat myself? Okay, I was just noting that I had gotten some reports from people, not in Ward 1, in Wards 2 and 3, that they had not gotten the newsletter this past month. Was it mailed out to them? Because a lot of them, several of them didn't get it. Was that mailed through regular mail or taking it over to?
It was taken over to the mailman, to the post office.
Okay, and in the future, they're going to be mailed by regular mail, right?
That is correct.
Okay, that works.
Barring
better.
if they're expensive. This month they were $1.24 each, so we went ahead and hand delivered most of them.
Okay, well, we got them in Ward 1, but I don't know who delivers them in the other wards, but there were some missing. I think that's all I had to say.
Commissioner Henderson?
Commissioner Henderson has no comment on, no changes on the website. I think it's wonderful. It's great, great job done, and I yield that. Oh, by the way, I would say in Ward 2, I received the reporter, and I didn't have any problems, so, and it was in my mailbox. So, but I yield back.
Okay, thank you. We're not actually doing commissioner reports right now anyway. This is just a work session. So, but I will agree that I've gotten some phone calls as well about some of the residents in Ward 2 have not gotten their newsletter. So if it's hand delivered, you need to make sure who's ever delivering it they go to every house because apparently they're not delivering it to everyone. All right. I already gave you my comment about the website, Commissioner Givens.
Since you're talking about that whole newsletter thing, let me just follow up to explain how we've done it in the past. We went from having someone do the whole town, physically pass them out to the whole town, and we paid them a stipend, right? But that's very laborious, right? Laborious to do the whole town. So I would surmise or submit that perhaps we should pay someone a small stipend to do that area in which is not being covered appropriately in Ward 1 or whatsoever on that side of town. Because the problem with that side of town, there's a lot of walking up and down stairs, right? And so that takes a lot out of a person as opposed to, and then having to do the rest of the Western name. So that's something the commission can consider if we're going to continue to have problems out of the post office. Because the problem you may not realize is the post office is having a problem. It's two different postmasters and having a problem delivering. So that's something I think the commission should consider and come up. I know we were paying $60 for the whole town. This was years ago, before we started to do the mailer. And so, but I would surmise you're probably going to at least have to pay $40, just to do even Ward 1, because people's time and things is valuable, and you want to see it get done. You want to say something?
Yeah.
Reply to that?
Actually, the way they've set it up now, when it's sent out by regular mail, we have a new system, and we do get our mail consistently now, if it's mailed through the U.S. mail.
Oh, okay.
And this last time around, I think the police delivered to Ward 1, and we all got it fine in Ward 1. It's just that I got reports from Wards 2 and 3 that they had not gotten it.
Well, I'll say this. Let me say this. The mail, I don't know if you guys realize, for some reason, and I don't really want to get into the personal aspect, our mailman is not here, okay, on our side. So I don't know what's going on. So, but I will say that, and maybe that has something to do with it in regards to our regular mailman, the guy, the black guy, really nice. Yeah, he's. There's some other people that are filling in, and so I'm hoping that he'll come back soon. But so what I would say is, let's see how this goes, and if it doesn't improve, then maybe we'll have to look at something until making some other amendments until we can get something consistent. But in regards to the website, let me just say this: I appreciate the website. One thing I want to make sure that on the C click fix is that once it gets delved out to a particular department, that whoever gets that ticket responds back to the residents. Because the problem is the residents don't get any response, and then they're like, well, nobody ever, and that could be, it's about a communication, right? They took the time to make a complaint, even if it's a matter of, we're addressing it, whatever, it's going to be a couple of weeks. So we've sent out a letter to that particular home because it's vacant or whatever, because people don't know, right? They just see, like, there's a vacant house on 43rd, right? I know it's vacant. But there's also what citizens don't realize, that there's a process that has to go, a legal process that has to take place, and that needs to be explained to them when they do make the complaint, if that's the case, or if it's a case in something that matters to the police department. So, but just a matter of just reaching back. That's all I had to say. I yield back. Thank you.
Commissioner Brooks, I know you're driving, so did you want to comment?
Yeah, no, I didn't get a chance to review it, but I do thank John for all of his hard work on it. I'll take a look at it over the next week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. So next on the agenda is Port Towns Joint Resolution 2025-01.
All right, this is a joint resolution from the Port Towns to establish a CDC. So this, what I can do is I'll read it into the record and then we can discuss it. Joint Resolution Number 2025-01, a joint resolution of the mayors and commission chair, councils and commission of the Port Towns of Bladensburg, Colmar Manor, Cottage City, and Edmonston to form a Community Development Corporation, CDC, and establish a governance structure. This was discussed briefly at several of the meetings during the Port Towns. And so this is the resolution that actually establishes the creation of the CDC. There is, we just found out recently, and we do have some discussion we'd like to have. There is an ask of this of $15,000 from the town to actually work with the other municipalities to establish the CDC. To start it up. For startup. So, and this is the resolution that actually puts that out there. So.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been attending the meetings. I don't remember them. I do remember them saying that we needed to possibly put in startup money, but I don't remember them actually saying an actual dollar amount. It was just a discussion. So does anyone else remember an actual dollar amount being discussed?
I don't remember the dollar amount, but I do remember that the original discussion was when certain people took over the old CDC. There was a bunch of money in that, and we probably ought to try to find out what happened to that money.
Well, I know, I got it, Denise, don't worry. We decided, per the bylaws, the board has to give any funds that remained to another nonprofit. So it was decided by the executive board, and Ms. Hamley, you can back me up on this, to give, yes, of the old one. The new one hasn't been established yet. The old one. The executive board decided to give the remaining funds to Eco City, or what is it? Eco Farms in Edmiston. So that's where those funds went. Is that not correct? Is it Eco Farm? I thought it was Eco Farms.
I thought they had two organizations, but they might have changed.
Okay, it may have been a second one. I only remember Eco Farms. I don't remember the second one.
So the part that I wanted.
Can we have whoever's talking into the mic, please?
So there was about $60,000 sitting in that account. And when we had to pay the attorneys to dissolve the organization, that current board was open to having it go into this next CDC and that decision was made that they did not want to do that. So that's why it went to, and the bylaws stated, the original CDC stated where the money should go within the community. So that was the decision that was made by that board. I am not on that board, just conveying it.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot you're no longer sitting on that board, but yeah. So there was several reasons why the Port Towns did not want to accept that money, and it was discussed in those meetings. And so they agreed that the money should go back into the community. And I do remember one of the organizations was Eco City Farms. There may have been others. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, getting back to the original discussion, I don't remember them saying we needed to chip in $15,000 per municipality. So I was just wondering, so you don't remember it, do you did you attend any of those meetings?
No, but I remember someone recently. I have heard 15,000. Most recently, though, not like before or anything like that. I don't know, but I don't know. It was last meeting or something, or someone mentioned. No. I heard that we were gonna. Oh, you know what? Maybe it was. I don't know. It was recently. I heard that we were going to have to chip in $15,000, but I'd like to comment on that at some point.
Okay.
Okay.
Commissioner Brooks, I believe you attended some of those meetings. Do you remember if there was a dollar amount mentioned, an exact dollar amount?
No, I don't remember, and I was curious who designated that amount.
That's what we're trying to find out. We are trying to find that out right now, because apparently the other three municipalities have already agreed to the $15,000. They've already signed off on their resolutions. So right now we're the holdup. But of course we only meet twice a month. So, we have to discuss it. We can't vote on it tonight unless we suspend the rules. but we need to get more information, because I myself would like to know who determined the $15,000, and I mean, because we would have to now factor that into our budget. So we weren't a part of that discussion in my mind. I know we discussed, I see your hand, Commissioner Young. I know we discussed the possibility of having to put in some money just to get the new CDC started, as you said, startup money, but we never actually decided on the dollar amount. And if a decision was made, Cottage City was not a part of the conversation. So, Commissioner Young.
Yeah, I agree with you. At that meeting, as a matter of fact, it was sort of left open even what the name of it would be. And so my impression is that they probably had these private discussions to decide that. Now, with that said, I wouldn't object to doing it, because you can do a lot of good things. And as a matter of fact, one of the things I was thinking about was there were several things financed by the CDC earlier, including, for example, exercise classes and things like that, which I think would be really good for the community to hold here. I came to at least one of them, and but yeah, it seems like there does need to be a meeting of all four towns to formally adopt whatever's going to be done, because I don't think it was done at the last formal meeting.
From what I remember in the meeting, I think the consensus was that they would, we all agreed that we would dissolve the old CDC, we would start a new one, we wouldn't take any funds, we would start up from scratch. So it would be brand new, we will rename it, we do need startup money. And I think from the discussion, it was stated that the 4 town administrators or town manager, in our case, would get together and discuss how to get this CDC started up again, right? So I think when you guys finally met, that's when you found out about the 15,000, correct?
When they actually had us meet to discuss the scope of work, working with Tom and his organization, Common Resilience, who was actually the consultant for the CDC, that is when they asked, is the $15,000 going to be a hard lift? And that's when I was like, oh, 15,000. I'm like, I was thinking, where did that come from? Because that's the first I had heard of it. And I was like, okay. So, and that's why I explained to them previous that, unfortunately, we only meet twice, and I got the thing late, and I want to make sure we get it approved, but it's got to go before the commission, so.
And I, like Commissioner Young, I do think we should chip in our share. And, if we have the 15,000, I'm fine with giving the 15,000. I just don't want this to be a repeat of every time something happens with the port towns, Cottage City is always the last to find out. And then it's always, oh, we need your money now. It's like, you don't even give us a chance to even discuss it. But you want us to be a part of this organization, but we don't feel like we're a part. At least for me, I don't feel like we're a part of it. I feel like we're always an afterthought. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but I certainly feel that way.
Well, that's strange.
It is strange. It's strange that they have this number, and it's the first time we ever heard about it.
Well, also, I never understood, really, maybe you know, but I never understood why we didn't take the money in the first place from the old one. As a matter of fact,
This
I
is
thought
Brooks.
the
Can I
board
say
had
something?
pretty much disintegrated, so I'm surprised that they got enough of them together to even do anything, frankly.
Sure. Commissioner Brooks, you have the floor.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I think, you can't just make decisions about Cottage City money and then expect us just to agree and say, yep, we'll give money. Like, no, bring us to the table. You want the money, but then bring us to the table as well. Like, John should be there, not just telling John, hey, that we agreed 15,000. No, like, we should be in that agreement phase. Thank you.
I agree, because whenever the decision was made, because it could have been a discussion, maybe it was 5,000, maybe it was 10,000. How did you get to 15,000 without even having a conversation with our town manager? If it was left up to the 4 town administrators or town managers, Mr. Holston should have been a part of the conversation. And clearly, you weren't a part of that conversation. So by the time you found out about it, they made the decision that the number is 15,000. So we're a small municipality compared to Bladensburg and Edmiston. We're on the same size of Colmar Manor, but I don't know what their budget is. Clearly, we have our own budget to deal with. So it just would have been appropriate for them to have a conversation with us first before they came up with this number. So, yes.
So, and the original CDC for a number of years, the towns did contribute, you all remember, and it was prorated based on the percentage of each of their budgets, because just as you were saying, Bladensburg's a lot larger than the other 3 municipalities. So I think we paid like 5,000, they might pay 10 and 15. So you might just want to put that out as well, that in the past, it was as a percentage of the town's budget. So it was, equitable across the different size municipalities.
So you're right. I do remember that being a part of the discussion years ago. Recently, I think that may have changed, but we can bring it to the table to see how people feel about it. To answer your question in regards to why didn't they take the money, there were some concerns. That's all I can say.
I was curious what they were. Maybe you're not can't say them in public, but I know they were questionable.
Yeah, there were concerns about the funds. And so they wanted to start with a clean slate. Any other discussion, Commissioner Henderson?
No discussion, but I was at the meeting and I didn't hear anything about any fee at that time.
Commissioner Givens?
No discussion.
Commissioner Brooks?
No, I would just like John, maybe before the next town meeting, to find out kind of how that figure was created. Thank you.
Okay. You said there's a line under it?
Oh, yeah.
Page 4.
Page 4.
It says funding and financial support.
If people are talking, we can't hear them online.
You gotta go up to the mic. That's why he can't hear you.
I don't see the line. Where is it at on page?
Yeah, it says
Okay,
right
so
here.
on the resolution on the second page, halfway down the page, it does say funding and financial support. Town contributions. Each participating town shall contribute at least 20% of the total annual expenses or an equal share of the organization's operational cost. Number 2, grants and external funding. The CDC shall serve as a collaborative entity to pursue grant funding and leverage financial resources for community capacity building and infrastructure improvements. So it appears that they're asking that on an annual basis, but it doesn't say that. So, yeah, it does. It says of the total annual expenses. So I think you need to ask the question about the initial money and then the ongoing contributions.
Good catch. Thank you. Commissioner Young?
Yeah, one other thing I'd like to bring up. In the past, we would have yearly meetings of the CDC, and I remember going to all of them yearly, and then once a certain party took over as president, or whatever the head of it is called, they stopped having those yearly meetings in public and inviting everybody to them. And which makes me wonder, actually about the legality of anything they did after they stopped holding the public meetings. So I think one thing that needs to be emphasized is that they need to be yearly public meetings where anybody and everybody can come, because it interests the community, and the community, there are going to be a lot of community members who will come to those meetings as they used to.
Yep.
Amy
Anything
Sawyer
else?
has her hand raised.
Okay, is there a comment from the public?
Hi. Sorry, my air conditioner is on. I hope the sound is okay. I just wanted to say I'm thrilled to hear that this is moving forward. I think we really need a CDC in place. I had a couple of questions. I don't know if now is the right time to address those or if I should take it offline. The first was just when are the meetings? Are they open to the public? Are the minutes available? Because I don't know anything about what's going on and we'd like to understand the history. The second question was, besides the obvious membership differences, what is the main difference between the Gateway Development Authority, which includes Mount Rainier and North Brentwood, and this CDC, this new CDC? I have some idea, but it does seem like there could be competing interests between the two groups, and we just want to make sure that we are moving forward in a way where we are able to achieve as much as possible and don't have any conflicts. And the third question is just what happened to the CDC? So again, maybe if as I'm reading this in the document that was in the handout, we're committing to 20% of the annual expenses. That seems like it could be potentially a lot of money, that unless we have a limit and that is put in the budget, I don't think the town should go ahead without a lot more clarification and just understanding what we're actually committing to. And if the money that we had previously ran afoul of whatever happened, it doesn't sound like the best accounting practices were in place or management or, again, I don't know exactly what happened, but it shouldn't really happen that a business just says, oh, we can't operate anymore, we're just going to shut down and then let's start again. So there needs to be more transparency about where that money went, what happened, and what would happen this time so that those same events don't happen again. So again, I don't know if this is the right place for that longer discussion. I can follow up with whomever tomorrow, but I would appreciate some answers to those things. Thank you.
Amy, I'm happy to meet with you regarding any of the questions that you had this evening. So just come by my office and we'll talk. I'll give you all the answers.
Yeah, that sounds great. I actually sent you a text. So if you had any time tomorrow, that would be great.
That'll be perfect. Thank you so much.
John.
Okay, so when you get some more answers from the other town managers, let us know what you find out, please. Hopefully before next week. Next is the Port Town compost. Okay. I'm sorry, it's not on the agenda. It doesn't say 7 o'clock, so I'm sorry. I apologize. To the public hearing for the budget.
So just so everyone's clear, we are having a public hearing now for the part of the increase of the commercial real property tax. I'm going to go ahead and read it into the record. Public hearing for the taxable year beginning July 1, 2025. The Commission of the Town of Cottage City of Prince George's County proposed to increase commercial real property tax from 0.6735 per 100 of assessment to 0.72 per 100 of assessment. Anyone seeking to speak must sign in prior to the end of the public hearing. There is a 3-minute time limit when you come up to speak. You will need to state your name, address, what organization that you represent. This was advertised in a newspaper of general circulation twice. So we followed all the guidelines for the constant yield tax rate that we have to abide by for the state. And so we open the floor tonight for the public hearing regarding the increase in the commercial tax. Todd, I know you're on. Did you want to say anything?
No, I think that covers it.
All right, so we'll start with Ward 1. Commissioner Young, any discussion?
No, thank you.
Mr. Henderson?
Ward 2, Henderson, no question.
Ward 3, Commissioner Wheatley, no discussion. Commissioner Givens?
Ward 4, Commissioner Givens, no discussion.
Commissioner Brooks? Commissioner Brooks?
At large, no discussion.
All right. Any comments from the public at this time? Mr. Kopecki, could you come up to the mic? Could you come up to the mic, please? Thank you.
Not that I'm seeing.
You said it was in the newspaper of general circulation twice, but I don't remember seeing it in the newsletter anywhere else.
It was also put on our social media. It was on Facebook, also with Constant Contact.
I don't read either one of those.
Was it in the newsletter?
It was not, because it did not make the deadline. The requirement is it must be in a newspaper of general circulation, as well as, that's the main requirement that we have to meet by the state.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the public? Anything in the chat?
Let me look. I don't see anything. Yeah.
All right. So that was the first reader?
There is no reading during a public hearing. It's just discussion and questions and feedback.
Well, we haven't gotten anything besides Mr. Kopecki. So is that it for the hearing?
That's it.
All right, we'll move on. Next is Port Town Compost.
All right. So meeting with the Port Town managers, there was discussion about having the town of Cottage City, along with the town of Cheverly, participate in composting. Edmonston has received a grant to start the composting for the town, and they have asked for our town, as well as Cottage City, Bladensburg, all of us to participate in doing composting. This is a free program that will run between, I think they're going to start it next month, and it will run till November. So it'll be free up until November. And then after that point, we will have to revisit it and see how, if the town want to continue it. And of course, there'll be a fee if the town decides to want to continue. But for now, we have this program that's offered to us, and we just wanted to hear from you all, as if we've spoken to the green team, Ms. Hamler, and she was very excited to hear that this was something that we were thinking about, and we want to bring it to the commission so we can, of course, receive your blessing and see what you all think.
Commissioner Young, any discussion?
Pure coincidence, but I just read an article yesterday or today about New York City, of all places, doing something like this. And so I guess my only question would be, are there particular containers that would be, okay.
I'm sorry, can you repeat it? The train was going by. I didn't hear you. Can you repeat your
I
question?
said I just read an article about New York City. It surprised me, but that they were having composting, requiring composting. It was about some people who weren't complying. And then my second note was to make sure that if we're doing it, are we going to give people a particular container to put their stuff in and tell them, like right out in the front or of their houses, or how to do it and so forth and so on? It needs to be spelled out.
Yeah, in the packet, there's the actual flyer that's right here, and it says the Port Towns and the town of Cheverly, along with Echo City Farms and Compost Crew, have joined forces to introduce composting. Simply deposit your food scraps in the Compost Crew bin during the week. Leave it at the curb the night before pickup, and Compost Crew will collect your food scraps weekly. Repeat the process for sustainable, nutrient-rich soil.
So to answer your question, yes, they'll provide us with bins, correct? They'll provide us with the bins. Any other discussion? No. Commissioner Henderson?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the containers will be very well sealed because of rodents when you put in the compost in there. I just hope the containers are very well made because rodents and like possum, they can get in containers pretty well. I mean, that's back to you.
Okay, so we're Julie, just so you'll know how we're going to do this, we're going to go around and talk to the commissioners first. And then if you have a comment or question, you'll do it during the public comment section. So once we get there, you can ask your question. So for me, I know that the Green Team has tried to do composting before in the town, and we had looked at doing a pilot program with Bates Trucking at one time, and it was when Mr. Pinckney was the Public Works Supervisor or Director or whatever, and we couldn't make the numbers work when we were going to try to do the pilot on, I believe it was a street in Ward 1 that we were going to do the pilot. And so I am happy to be joining this opportunity for our town, especially since it's free, because when we looked at it before, it was kind of expensive. So I support it. I'm all in. Commissioner Givens?
No comment.
Commissioner Brooks?
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I think we've had a couple residents inquire about it over the years, and so I think this is a good alternative to work with the other towns on a grant. So yeah, I'm excited. I look forward to it. Thank you.
All right, so you have a consensus? Now, we'll hear from the public. Julie, did you want to ask a question?
Yeah, my question is, what happens to the compost? Does it come back to, like, once it turns into soil, does it come back to us where we can utilize it, or?
I'll have to check on that one because I did not hear where it comes back to, but I will follow up and let you know. Yeah.
I have a feeling that it's going to go to Eco City Farms.
Probably is. But I want to check. I don't want to just give an answer.
Yeah, hey, this is Brooks. Yeah, usually for these programs, I had to look at it for my job. When you send it away, it goes usually to a farm that'll use that soil. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Hamley, did you have a question?
Just a clarification. This is only through November. I'm a little concerned about that because to get someone to adopt a new behavior usually takes months. So I'm a little concerned about that. And then what the possible fee is going to be. What is the opt-in? Because one of the problems we had with when Chair Wheatley mentioned was that we were having a hard time figuring out how people were going to opt in, because it's not going to be to every resident. It's not like everyone's going to get one of these, right? It's an opt-in. Okay, and I just want to also reiterate that Compost Crew is a legitimate business that does this throughout the DMV. And they have commercial composting. They know what they're doing. They've been doing this for many years. They are the #1 provider of this food composting program, and they originally started out with restaurants, and they went to residential. They have a facility, a composting facility in the Port Towns up near the Eco Farm property, and that's why it makes sense. And they have won it, and they were one of the groups we also had interviewed several years ago. So I think that we're all in, but I think that we should not say it's over in November. I think it should be at least a year pilot project to get the adoption going for people. Oh, and all the containers are really great, Mr. Henderson. They make them so they're.
All right, Ms. Young?
My question was, how many containers and where will they be located? At first, I had the impression that everybody would have their own little one, but then it sounds like they're spread out. Where will they be, and how far apart?
I think it is for individual containers. I think residents will have individual containers. But like I said, I will follow up with Rod, and I will ask the questions, and I will also find out about the cost beyond November to find out what exactly that will be if the town decides they want to continue the program. So I'll get all that information and have it hopefully by the meeting next week.
So also ask, would it be handled in the same way as like put it by the trash and,
Right.
and at a certain time
Okay.
during the week,
Definitely.
et cetera?
Okay.
Thanks.
Commissioner Givens?
So I'd like for us to move this meeting along. We do have a closed meeting in which we are scheduled to attend in regards to interviewing prospects that will be waiting, and we have a responsibility to be respectful of their time as well. So if we can just continue to move on and appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda is American Bloom.
Yes, America Bloom. We have gone ahead and we have signed on to America in Bloom. They are going to be coming to do a tour of Cottage City on July 21st through the 25th. Cottage City is slated to be visited on the Monday when they arrive. So we will be providing a great day for them to tour our town. And in the packet, there is tips for a good tour. It talks about, what we're going to be doing when they do come. Looking at our sustainable, our community garden, our, all the things that we're doing in our town, the tree canopy, and we're excited to have them come and visit. Just to make the commission aware, we are been asked as part of this to put up $500 for their hotel accommodations. They're going to be staying at the hotel down in College Park. When they do come, there's 2 people that are coming, Jack and Millie, and tomorrow I have a meeting with Rod to fill out the questionnaire that we have to fill out prior to them coming. So I'll be working with him hopefully tomorrow to get that done.
I'm not clear on what exactly they're doing and why we should pay $500.
Recognizes the town for, again, all that we do that's green. Colmar Manor has signed on with it. Bladensburg and Edmonston are all part of it. Rod is, I think, really on the board, I think, with them. But because of all the good things that we do with Denise Hamler and the Green Team and the garden, we thought it would be a good designation to have for the town. And so we've been asked to participate, and so we are trying to get involved with it and support and be a part of what the other towns are doing as well.
So we get the designation, what do we get? I'm still not clear on what we get.
Okay.
So, as you know, we are a sustainable community, and part of our sustainability is beautification, landscaping, making our town more inviting, and it also helps with, it could help with economic development. So this is just another program to help us continue to be a sustainable community. It's part of our recertification. Does that answer your question?
Not really, I'm still not sure what we get other than recertification, but.
Well, they help us with getting recertified. So like, they'll come, when they come to do the tour of the town, they'll take an inventory and they'll survey the town and they'll make recommendations on how we can beautify our community. They'll give us advice, they'll help us with design, stuff like that, I believe. So it's help it helps us to stay sustainable, if that makes sense to you. Sustainable? Yeah. And we were going to try to do it last year, but because of us having a short staff and we didn't really have the bandwidth, but now that Mr. Holtzen is here, working along with our green team, we should be able to get it accomplished. Right?
As well as we also are getting our Tree City USA. We just finished our Arbor Day event, so we will be also getting Tree City USA back established for the town.
And all of these different initiatives, they go towards us keeping up our sustainability certification. So in order for us to remain sustainable and to keep our certification, we have to continue to do different initiatives and projects in our community. And so we can't come up with all the ideas by ourselves. I mean, we have some great minds here, but it's also good to have other people help out, especially if they've already done something similar. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. So if they can help us, why not take advantage of it? Ms. Hamley, did you want to add anything from the green team?
And scrimmage significantly reduced by gotcha risk. I usually started.
We actually discussed it last year with Mr. Galloway and Mr.
Right, we
Falk.
talked about it last year,
Yeah.
and then it was tabled, but this has not gone before the current green team. So I assumed when I saw this in the packet that it's an initiative from the town and that we will participate, but we're not taking the lead on this. It's really a town initiative, and I think that's what Rod was also talking to you about, so.
Oh, okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
No,
I
it was
thought you
never on the
guys-
agenda. So I'm sure some of us would like to participate, but
Okay,
we are
good.
seeing this as a town initiative.
Okay.
Because it's going to go way beyond just what the green team's mandate is. They'll be looking at things like your economic development and the Bladensburg Road corridor. You know, it's much more inclusive. And if you go to their website, they give you like pilot projects and examples of what other communities have done. So it's much broader and inclusive than a green team would do. So, and they also, like they said, they bring experts in. So, and we did decide not to proceed last year because of the expense and not having staff and not having the bandwidth. So I think that it should be under John and the staff's purview, and we'll assist as needed.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Any other questions, Commissioner Young? Anyone else? Commissioner Gibbon? No. Mr. Henderson? Commissioner Brooks?
No problem.
No comments or questions for me. Thank you.
Okay, you just need a consensus on the $500, right? Any objections to the $500?
Brooks, no objection.
Henderson, no objection.
Gibbons, no objections.
No, I guess I don't have any objection.
All right, I have no objections. I just want to know where's the money coming from? Which line item?
I'll figure that out and I can report back to you all. Yeah, we'll do.
Let us know, please.
We'll do.
All right. Next agenda item is...
Next agenda item is the resident stickers. Of course, we have not talked about this for a little while. We want to bring it forward. Ms. Proctor did provide a design for the town.
We'll start with Ward 1.
So I thought this, I thought this was a good idea. Question, the one that says resident, that would go to everyone who lives here. The other one, is that for when we have visitors or what?
Yes, that would be a decision you all would decide. If you want to have a resident-only one or a visitor one, that when people have visitors come by, they could have a sticker for their vehicle. That's an option for you, but we just wanted to make sure that was on the table. But for now, we're mostly concerned with having resident stickers, so that way when they are doing the traffic detail in the evening, they can, go ahead and turn people around that don't need to be traveling through.
So, and these would be stickers that we would put on the window, like the lower right-hand corner, for example?
Placement would be decided. Chief, do you have an idea of what you'd like placement?
Yes, somewhere on the front window, probably the right side window, away from
Sounds
the
like a
driver's
good
side.
idea.
And can I continue on real quick?
No. We'll come back to you. I want to get the commissioners first. Mr. Henderson?
Yes, I think that it's a good idea, but it needs some kind of dates on it, or especially for the visitors. A starting date and an end date. And the town hall, I think, should also keep a record of, what tags that are out there.
When you say date, what do you mean?
Like when somebody's visiting town, they're not going to be here forever, so. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just like most places, when you visit or you come into a building, you have at least an expiration time that you're going to be there. You don't, and also you got to worry about people changing dates too. People are human.
Chief.
Okay, I don't think we need a visitor or pass. What we're doing is we're trying to alleviate the long lines by seeing residents. Residents should have priority for us. If we see that a resident has a sticker, we're gonna move them on. Because we have certain days where it's kind of busy. Sometimes you might have an accident out there on Bladensburg Road where it's gonna have a lot of people try to cut through. To see a person that has a decal, we can get them through. We won't question everybody, because sometimes somebody might not have, they got a rental car, we get them through. If you're a visitor and you come to visit somebody, we won't let them through. We don't stop visitors. If they say they're going to visit someone on 43rd Avenue, we let them through. If they're saying they just cut through, we turn them around. So I don't think we need a visitor pass. I just want to have something to alleviate the long lines. I yield.
Makes sense to me. Is that it, Mr. Henderson?
It's okay.
Okay, I agree.
Okay.
I agree with the chief. I don't think we even need to even touch the visitor sticker. I don't think it's necessary. I think the resident sticker is all we need. We just need something to identify our residents, so when they're coming home during rush hour, they can just be flagged on in. They don't have to stop. My preference is the first sticker, the yellow one, because it's bright and you can see it from a distance. I think we need to make it as easy as possible for the officers so they don't have to strain and try to figure out, is that Cottage City sticker or is it some other sticker that's bright, it's yellow, it has our colors, it's very defined. I think it's clear. You guys can spot it a mile away. Well, maybe not a mile away, but it's bright. I prefer the first one. Commissioner Givens.
Yeah, I think, the goal here, again, I want to reiterate what the chief has said. It's just minimize the inconvenience of the other people that don't live through the town. I think we're creating a situation in regards to putting expiration dates. It's going to, you don't see it now, but all you're doing is putting more burden on the administrative office. Every year, somebody's got to come and do you want a sticker? Oh, I live on this side of town. Well, I don't want a sticker. I mean, why do all that? If you live on this side of town and you want a sticker, or even if you live on that side of town and you want a sticker, you show your ID, you come up, you get a sticker. No one's going to be counterfeiting these things. That's not called for. All you do, because when you continue to do those things, everybody in the commission, y'all at home, at work or wherever, these people are in the office, they got a lot of other stuff to be doing, be doing 25, 26, 27 every year going through this stuff. They got business licenses to pull, then that's a yearly thing that we have to make sure we stay on top of. But something like this, and Chief, you can back me, if you think it's necessary, I don't really think it's, from a law enforcement perspective, I don't really think it's necessary.
I think Mr. Henderson was only speaking about the visitors.
No, I'm not talking about Mr. Henderson. No, I'm talking about the fact that if you scroll it up. Yeah, I'm not, yeah. See how it says 2025?
Yeah,
I'm saying I don't think that's necessary.
No, we don't take that off.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
that's the date
Yeah.
you're talking about, not the
Right,
date
that's
he's
an
talking
expiration date. I'm not talking about what Mr. Henderson was talking about. I think
the expiration.
that point's already been
My
made.
suggestion is take that off when we discuss that. So we want to ask permission to take that off.
about. Yeah, you don't need it. You don't need it. It's not necessary.
Okay, all right, so we're good. Thank you.
That's
I yield
saving
back.
nobody on parking space and stuff like that. Just one way
Yeah,
to get people
it's
through.
just to get them through. So
Yeah.
the year is not necessary.
Thank you.
Mr. Brooks, any discussion?
Yeah, no, real quick, I agree with everyone. The visitors passes aren't necessary. This is just a flag that, hey, you're a resident. The local traffic only signs are creating, burdensome conditions, on Cottage Terrace. So get these stickers. I agree with Commissioner Givens. Take the 2025 off. It's just a flag, and so that the police can flag them through quicker and turn around people. So yeah, I agree. Get us some numbers, what it costs, and I'm all for it. Thank you.
Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the blue or the yellow?
It really doesn't matter. Whatever the police can easily see and get residents through works for me.
Okay, I think the chief said he preferred the yellow.
Works for me.
Okay. So, any other discussion from anyone? All right. So, Mr. Holson, you have enough. Chief, you have enough to get. How soon can we get these printed? And how many are we giving out to the household? Is it per house, per car, or because some people have multiple cars? But it has to be registered to that location. Okay, and so they have to provide proof.
That's going to help us out with the out-of-state tax.
Okay, so they have to provide proof before they get the tag. Okay, so are you going to have them sign for it?
Yes.
So we can keep track of who's picked up what? Okay, that makes sense. All right, so if that's that, you guys are good. We can move on to 43rd Avenue.
I'd just like to make another comment, follow up on that, just a real quick comment.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate that we're trying this as a pilot or whatever. To be honest with you, I think the only true, real way to address the problem is, and you guys don't want to deal with it now, that's fine, but I think you're going to find, because you can't continue to, throughout the next umpteen years, to expect the police to do this thing, because you would think, okay, well, people get used to it. No, they won't. And so I think the only real way to really address it, and you're not going to like this, is to put a do not enter sign from 4 to 6 or whatever, 4 to 7, and then have our residents reroute around. But I'm okay with the pilot and see how it works out. But I'm just thinking, if you're thinking long term to truly address the traffic running through the town, that's the real way to be like a true reality to address it. Because this is not, it's a temporary fix, and hopefully people will get the what's name, but eventually they'll go back to doing it after, because you can explain to them better than me.
Okay, hold on. You just said that we have to interview people at 8:15.
I did. I just wanted to make that comment.
Can we table this, please? It's 7:35. We got a few more items to get through.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make that comment clear.
Okay,
to you.
thank you. 43rd Avenue, is Robin here?
Yes, Robin is here.
Chief, are you getting ready to go? Okay, because I need you around for 43rd. Go ahead.
All right, so this is...
Just wait, make one quick statement. I'm not going to go into it, but I totally disagree with what you just said.
Oh, come on.
That puts
Ma'am.
our side of town in a very difficult position.
We're going to table it. We're going to table
I
it.
know, I just wanted to say before we tabled it, I
Gotcha.
just want to get that.
I can't hear half of what's being said because people aren't talking.
It's not important.
It's okay.
It's
Don't
not
worry about it,
important.
John.
Trust me.
All right. All right.
It's something that we can discuss at a later time. Is Robin on the call?
She is. As we all know, in December, we completed 3 of our stormwater maintenance projects. This is the RFP. It's right here if you'd like a copy. There you are. You're welcome. So we completed 3 of our stormwater maintenance projects, and now we are slated to complete the biggest of the projects, which is our 43rd Avenue. And the engineers have been diligently working to get our permitting done for this, and this project has to be completed by the end of August. So we are scrambling right now. We lose the grant money if we do not get this completed. So there is a rush right now to get this done for the town. This is something I inherited when I got here. So we are now making sure that this gets handled. And Robin, I know you're on the call, and I'll let you speak to the RFP.
Can you scroll up some?
I sure can.
Does Robin need to be a host? Does she need to share a screen or anything?
I don't know. Let me see. I know she was on.
Is she on?
I am here, yes.
Hi, Robin. How are you?
Good evening. How are you?
Doing good. So, are you ready to discuss the RFP?
Sure. So, background on the project, just a quick overview. So the majority of the project is to address the stormwater issue that was occurring where we had constant base flow flowing down the gutter pan and then going out to the intersection of 43rd with Bladensburg. As part of that was also to expand and deal with some also maintenance along 43rd Avenue. So the scope of the project is we are along 43rd Avenue, we're replacing the curb and gutter on both sides of the street. On the west side of the road, we will be installing a trench drain in the gutter pan to carry the base flow from the groundwater and from sump pump discharge so that we don't have the icing issue on the surface. We will also be milling and overlaying of the entire road width from Bunker Hill to Bladensburg, or almost to Bladensburg. We're not touching the area that SAJ had recently repaved. Then in the alleyways that come off of 43rd, on the main alleyways, we're replacing the asphalt there with the heavy-duty concrete, similar to what we did over on 37th Alley. And then the alley that goes up behind the houses that face 43rd, that alley will be repaved and there'll be a curb installed along there to help channel the groundwater that's coming on the surface down the alley and out to 43rd so that they're not going into the yards of those houses, because some of those houses were having issues with the sump pumps running constantly. So we're trying to channel stormwater away from there to help alleviate some of this issue that's happening. So in front of you is the RFP to put this out to bid for contractors to submit their proposals so we can get to construction. The technical specs are very similar to what we did for the other 3 projects. And so John can speak better to the process, but I believe we're here to talk about any questions you may have so that you all can do a final vote. I believe is it next week, John?
It is. It's on the 14th.
Yeah, so thank you, Robin. I do have a question or a comment. You mentioned the sump pumps for the homes that were experiencing, I guess, the runoff or the water. So are you guys still gonna do, I think it's called a French drain or,
Yes.
You are gonna
You're
still
gonna
do
like
it?
a stone, like a little stone pit. That's what you're talking about, a French drain.
Yes.
So we're doing that in 2 locations. It's locations where it's right behind the curb where the water is bubbling up, if you will, and flowing over the top of the curb. So we're putting French drains in there to intercept it so it's not coming to the surface, and basically it'll bleed that water off into the trench drain that we're installing.
Okay, so before when we were talking about this project, I thought we had said that the homeowners had to agree to allow you to do that or something. So I mean, I don't remember everything because it's been so many years now.
Yeah.
But I thought the homeowners had to agree. They had to sign something saying that they agreed to this drain or whatever. No? Maybe I'm getting confused.
No, that's when we.
No.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
whoever wants to answer.
No, I think that's when we were trying to do the rain gardens in the front yards.
Was it a rain garden?
No.
It wasn't a rain
no,
garden.
No, Robert, I'm sorry. This is Chief Ayers. It was when we tried to pipe their
Sump
drains,
pump.
the sump pump drainage into the main lines.
Right. So we're not
Yes.
doing that anymore.
Correct. So originally, the thought was if we could run a pipe up the street, an actual storm drain pipe up the street, we could tie in rooftop downspouts and sump pumps. It was both of those was the original thought on that. We did utility marking and utility test pitting to determine the actual depth for the existing utilities along 43rd, including the house connections for the gas, water, and sewer that come into the houses. And what we found is that we don't have enough clearance over all of those utilities to put an actual storm drain pipe up the street. We would have to do a lot of relocation of utilities, which would be extremely more expensive.
Okay, so we're not going with that plan.
Correct. So that's where we pivoted to this system where it's a trench drain. It stays very shallow. It's within the gutter pan section. So there's no conflict with utilities. But what it will do is it will intercept any water that's flowing in the gutter pan and carry it in the trench drain so it cannot ice on the surface. So it'll alleviate the icing issue that was happening in the wintertime.
Okay, so this will stop the water from running out onto the street
Correct. It'll be carried in
from
the
each house?
So
Be carried
each,
down? No?
each house would still drain how it currently does, but once it gets into the gutter pan, it would run in this trench drain.
Okay, and not into the street?
Correct. It won't be, yeah, it won't allow icing to happen on the surface.
Okay, so you don't need, the homeowners don't have to get involved at all now?
That's correct.
Okay, okay. I think that's better.
Could I just ask a quick question?
Sure, as soon as I finish, Commissioner Young. I'm not finished asking my questions. I haven't yielded the floor yet. I'm still trying to understand this because this is in my ward.
Right, I was just trying to understand what she said just now, but that's okay.
You want to explain it again, Chief?
Yeah.
I don't think she heard Robin.
So what Robin said, and I think she they did an assessment of doing the program the way we talked about before, attaching to the houses, allowing them to attach to the houses. What happened is the Miss Utility came out and said that to do this would be very expensive for us because some of the landlines and stuff like that.
It was just a simple thing that I was going to ask.
Oh.
It's just, the gutter will be made deeper?
No. What happens is you have French drains in certain locations where when the water is pushed out from people's storm drains into the street, into the curb area, it would come down a ways away from the house and it goes into a French drain and goes down the rest to the sewage. This is going to save money for the town because we don't have to do all this other hooking up, and it's going to be feasible because now the water's not going out in the street, icing up like it was before.
The French drain part is just a place where the water would go down deeper.
Exactly.
Right, thanks, that's all I want to know.
Right, well.
Okay, so Robin, how long will the RFP be out? For 30 days?
Okay.
And do you have any companies already lined up?
We would put it out to the same companies that we advertised the previous projects to. And we can also find other companies to invite to bid on it as well.
Okay. And we still have enough money to cover this project from the grant?
We do.
Okay.
We do. We came in under budget on the last one.
Okay.
And then we haven't even touched the large gift that was given by Senator Van Hollen. As
Well, that
And
money
this will
should cover
right,
this
that
project.
Will cover it. It will definitely cover it.
Okay. Okay. So
what I
you're
said.
saying we're gonna have some money left over?
We possibly could.
Okay.
this comes
If
in.
we have money left over, then we have to give it back.
I know. That's why I said we
No.
go. That's
I have a suggestion, real quick. And I think
wasn't done.
Mr. Givens might agree to us real quick.
Okay, hold on. Mr. Holson, then the chief. and then I'll yield the floor. But you can go ahead and finish answering, then we'll go to Chief Ayers.
There will be no money left on the table because we will find other stormwater issues that we need to address, and we will address them.
Okay, you have some suggestions.
Exactly. We have a problem down there on Bunker Hill. I think we should put a curb and a drain to go into that swamp area, because what's happening right now is we have a lot of the silt that's coming back in people's yard, not in the yard, but going to their driveway sometimes. And I believe it should be a curb and pretty much like an off-ramp where the water would come down Bunker Hill into the drain, into the swamp area or the drainage area. It'd be more cleaner. We're trying to reduce the mosquitoes and the fallback we have with the mud coming back into the street. So I think having a curb there with some kind of drainage system there would be very helpful with the problem we have with Bunker Hill.
Okay, Commissioner Givens.
So the problem that you're talking about, I don't want to get into it because we're running out of time, but that's not going to be solved. Because the problem, you're talking about the homeowner's problem with the sump pump. What happens is they pump the water out across the sidewalk, and then it goes over the curb onto the thing. That's not going to stop. You know what I'm saying? Unless you allow, or we go in and we cut the sidewalk. We cut the sidewalk, and then we cut a hole. Like if you go down down on Bunker Hill Road, or at the end, they have a hole. Some of these houses have holes in the curb like this, right? Matter of fact, there's a couple of them out here. And what happens is the town did this years ago, and they allowed people to tie into the sump pumps so that they wouldn't have to, the water wouldn't flow over the sidewalk. But I don't want to get into it. We could talk about it later. I'm okay with having a discussion with this young lady about it. What she's trying to do, which I understand and have no problem with, is mitigate the problems of the standing water along the street. That doesn't solve the homeowner's problem. That's a different problem. So I yield back, and we can have a further discussion with that later, and I can actually show you or show her what the issues is, and we can come up with a resolution.
Okay, Robin.
Yes, ma'am.
So, based on what Commissioner Givens just said, could we set up a time to meet with you in person and take a look at the curves that he's talking about?
Absolutely. I believe what he is talking about is taking the sump pumps and what I would call it as daylighting it through the curb. So it's going underground and it's discharging right into the curb and gutter. Some municipalities do it. It's been more recently in other areas, they don't allow that, but it's up to you all as your jurisdiction of what you allow. We can certainly coordinate with you all and make some modification to the plan to incorporate all of that as part of this bid to be incorporated if that's what you all want to proceed with.
I don't want to hold up the RFP though.
Don't hold up the RFP. I'm not asking anybody to hold it up. I was just kind of addressing your issue.
Okay, but we could still do what you're suggesting later on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we probably could use some of that extra money to do that.
Because it may not be every home along there.
Right.
It may be some.
It's only on that one side.
Right. It's just a couple of them who have the sump pump that need that type of accessibility.
Yeah. Okay.
But what I would recommend is that we wouldn't hold up the RFP, but we could provide, we'll meet with you, we can provide some standard details, and we can add it to this RFP as an ad alternate, so we can get pricing for it now, and if it comes in reasonable and everything, you all could just approve it as part of that when you're approving the contract for this whole rest of the work.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go to Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion, any questions?
I was just saying that's a good idea, what you just mentioned. I'll yield back.
All right, Commissioner Givens, anything else?
No, nothing further.
Commissioner Brooks? Any
No
discussion?
comment.
Okay. Did you have anything else, Commissioner Young? No. Okay. So, we're gonna vote on this next week?
That is correct, on the 14th.
On the 14th?
That's
Okay.
correct.
All right.
I do have a comment. Oh, hang on. Amy Sawyer has her hand raised.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to ask, because this area that you're talking about on 43rd is squarely in the Maryland critical area, as I understand, all all proposals for development, especially if they are over 5,000 square feet of soil moved and roads in particular, that all of those proposals need to be reviewed by the Critical Area Commission. If that's already been done, I would love to see that documentation attached to what we're seeing here. And if it hasn't been done, I'm just wondering what the timeline is going to be.
Robin, you probably can answer that maybe.
So we have not done any review with Critical Area Commission because we're actually not disturbing the ground. Most of this is maintenance. Like the mill and overlay does not disturb soil. It's just overlay of pavement on that. So the majority of this project is considered a maintenance project on it. So we have not done a Critical Area Commission approval at this time.
It's only because this area of land that you're talking about is right in the red of the critical area. I don't see how we could move forward without having the Critical Area Commission review it. I appreciate that we want to have this project done. I appreciate the deadline of August of this year for the grant funding, but what we're talking about here completely changes the way water is flowing in the critical area. I don't see how they shouldn't be involved.
Okay, so Amy, understand this. The problem is, first of all, the 5,000 square feet that you're referring to is in regards to building of structures and having a stormwater management plan. And so what we're trying to do, right, to stop the pooling of water, which creates a hazard, an icing hazard. So it's not under, if there were requirements in regards to what you're saying, the county will let us know. Trust me when I tell you. Even when we built that building back there, people thought, and I said, no, it's not. We don't need a stormwater management plan. And they said, oh, yes, you do. And I'm telling you, you don't. Because when they came out and did it, they said, no, it's less than 5,000 square feet. The building is less than 5,000 square feet, so you don't have to have a stormwater management plan to base off that. Although we did try to do stormwater management, be conscientious of how we displace the water from that structure. But what we're trying to do is stop the icing. So if those things are required, we'll deal with the county in regards to the permitting aspect, and they will let us know. I yield back. We need to move on.
So I will go ahead and reach out to the commission. I apologize, Commissioner Givens, if you're sure that you know what they would do. I argue that we really don't, because again, this area is in the critical area. It's in the critical area for a reason. And the problem that we're having is because we are at sea level at that point. So there are issues. We're seeing the icing, we're seeing this water because there's nowhere for the water to go. It is the Critical Area Commission's responsibility to review this and provide good feedback about how we can move forward. We should not just be arbitrarily making decisions. So if the council doesn't want to move ahead, if the contractor doesn't want to move ahead, that is absolutely your option, but I will share this with them and see if they have any thoughts, because this seems like a really major project to be happening at sea level in the critical area where we haven't gotten any expert opinions.
Thank you for your comment. Moving on. So the next one is the first reading. Next item is the first reading of ordinance 2025 Oh, I'm sorry, Robin, did you have anything else for us before?
Not at this time.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming out, and thank you for all your hard work. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you. And I'll follow up with John after this.
Yes, please, and I'd like to be at that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
Thanks.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not totally sure about this, but I do know I've looked at the zoning for Cottage City, and that area is in the area that is affected by flooding. So if there is a way we could quickly find out whether there's something we need to do and quickly do it, it might be a good idea to do that.
without the county. So if it's a
Okay.
relative issue, we'll deal with the county. We can't keep.
Okay,
Just saying if there's some quick thing to do,
okay.
you can go back and do it.
I think we're all clear on how everyone feels about this. We're going to move on to the next item. First reading ordinance 2025-02 is adopt the budget and levy property taxes.
Yes, so tonight we're going to do the first read of our ordinance to pass our budget for the fiscal year 2025-26. I'm going to go ahead and read it into the record, and then we will have discussion. Ordinance 2025-02, an ordinance of the Cottage City Commission to adopt a budget and levy property taxes for the 2025-26 fiscal year. So here contained within this document, of course, has your items regarding the taxes, it has your expenditures, it has everything to do with the budget that we have discussed along the way. And Todd is here tonight to assist us with this discussion. So, Todd?
Yeah, I think, we've had conversation at lengths. I think everyone should be comfortable and happy to answer any questions from the commissioners or the residents about the budget as drafted.
So, hi Todd, this is Wanda. I'm going to ask this
Good
question.
evening.
I know that Mr. Holson already asked and you said that the numbers are correct. So on the first, I believe it's the first page in the last whereas, and it's the third line, it says for fiscal year 2026 will be, how is that? Is that, I don't understand that number. Is that 100 million or no? I don't understand.
So you're on the last paragraph on page 1?
Yes.
Yes, so that's the assessed value of the residential property in the town. So the town has $102 million of assessed residential property.
Okay. And the 55 million?
Is the assessment of the commercial property.
That's the commercial, okay. Okay, so the numbers are right. So you didn't explain that. Okay, never mind. Thank you, Todd, I got it now.
You bet.
We'll start with Ward 1, Commissioner Young.
No questions, thank you.
Ward 2.
Henderson, Ward 2, no comment, no question.
Okay, my question was answered. Ward 4.
No question at this time. I'm looking for something specific. Thank you.
Do you want us to come back to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Just give me 1 second.
Okay. Commissioner at large, Mr. Brooks.
At large, no questions at this time. Thank you.
Okay, I think I found her. Yeah. Okay, so one of the things, and I guess perhaps, Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't see it on here, and maybe we didn't have a further discussion, perhaps we were supposed to have a further discussion. I did put in and request for street sweep, the pull behind street sweeper, and at a cost of $20,000. I have discussed some of the concerns with Commissioner Brooks in regards to the cost. However, like I've explained to you all before, there are opportunities out there to approach other towns and offer a rental to them at a cost of maybe perhaps $500 for 2 days, a 2-day rental to those towns, because they have the same problems that we have. They don't have a street sweeper either. But we have a responsibility to keep these streets clean. Now, if you don't want to put the $20,000 up, which I think we can afford based on our red light cameras coming back online, then we could finance it. But there's no way that we're going to talk about more work with less staff in the Public Works Department and expect for our town to continue to be clean. I'm out there doing a job, and I'm here to tell you it's a lot. And we have to be, we still, have to keep the streets clean. Right now, these leaves and whatever that stuff's falling, it's all over the place. And I'm not cleaning it up, and before you would have 3 guys out there, 2 to 3 guys out there with blowers and stuff like that, pushing it all in one area and then putting in bags and getting rid of it. Well, we don't have that staff anymore. We're looking at hiring 1 person. That's it. I mean, and in the future, that may change, but I still think that we need to be more efficient with the equipment, and this is a piece of equipment that will last us long term. In regards to not just addressing some of this falling stuff off the trees now, but also regular trash, as well as during the leaf season, in between those times when we get the leaf pickup. I yield back.
Yeah, Commissioner Givens, and thank you for all that you do. It's line 6607. The appropriation was $25,500. 20 of that is the street sweeper.
Oh, okay. So I apologize. 66. You said 66 or 65?
6607.
Yeah, I got 6607 as new equipment as 11,000.
Yeah, that's cut off. So that version there is only showing the column from last year. It needs to show the right column there. So we'll get that.
11,000.
So, John, can I share real quick? Anyway.
25.
That document there doesn't have both years.
Can you give him co-host rights?
Hold on.
Can I ask a question?
Or who was that?
Brooks.
Mr. Brooks. Yes.
Wait, so this is in the budget, but we've never voted on it.
Hang on, Todd.
We did discuss it.
We discussed it. We discussed
it,
it.
And at the time, the consensus was to put it in the budget. But like I said, again, you addressing your concerns in regards to it, then coming back around, I'm amenable to financing it if that's a way. I didn't hear anybody outside yourself that had any disagreement or issues with it. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, the floor is open to have a further discussion, whether you want to move forward with it or not.
Yeah, and just to clarify the versions, so the version you have stops at fiscal year 25's budget. Fiscal year 26's budget is over here, and that's what I was saying, 6607, 25,500. So we just need to make our...
You could make that bigger? We can't see it.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that's better.
So what I'm saying is you all got to here. You need to here.
Okay, scroll over a little bit more so we can see that last column. Yeah, there you go.
And that's...
Okay, where is it?
And that's 6607.
Uh-huh. Well, what's the
and
number?
In that, 25,500.
25,500.
And then in that is the salt spreader, the sweeper, ATV, and a plow.
The ATV?
That's not going to make it all. We're only going to be able to get the salt spreader and the...
Oh yeah, we talked about it, but it wasn't included. You're right.
It's something they were, we'll talk about that later in the event that I had asked for it, but you guys hadn't really taken on that, you know what I'm saying, as a consideration. But, and the salt spreader is what we did consider.
I do remember that.
But, and matter of fact, John said we shouldn't get it next year because you have the money initially.
I can't hear half of the discussion. It's not on.
Oh, can you hear me now? I apologize. That's
Yeah,
my fault.
I can hear you now.
My mic wasn't on. And what John had said that we shouldn't wait till next year to get the salt spreader. We should get it this year. But I was saying that it would amenably be John Brooks. It would be cheaper if we could start selling off some of the other equipment and utilize, and that wouldn't be till probably September sometime, and then research and get a salt spreader at that time. So I don't know if you recall that, John, but that's about the salt spreader. But that would be the cost. It's going to be $20,000 for the street sweeper. Of course, it would cost whatever type of what do you call that, shipping or whatever. I don't know how much that is. I can't recall how much that was, but.
Okay, so it's there now. So
I mean, if people want to have a conversation to take it out, then have the conversation. But understand, you got a problem. I mean, you're going to have to figure out how to clean these streets with one person, and it's just not feasible.
Okay, let's have a discussion.
Can we
We'll
table
start.
it for tonight since we have all these other things we have to do?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We could table it.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. You know, because we're just reading the ordinance.
just
but-
the first
Yeah,
reader.
it's just the first reader. So yeah, because we still have time before we close the what's the name?
So can we make sure we
Yeah.
put this on the
Sure.
agenda next week, please? Okay, and make sure we have the correct version with the,
Oh, thank you. Thanks, that's a good idea.
okay. All right, anything else, Todd?
No, I mean, I think we've been through it. We're just here to answer questions at this point. I thought we got to a consensus on that number, but yeah, happy to revisit it before we go final with the budget.
Okay. Any, Ward 1, anything for Todd? Mr. Henderson, anything?
No, no questions from Ward 2 Henderson.
Okay, no questions for Ward 3.
No questions given to Ward 4.
No questions at large.
All righty, so we'll take this back up next week. I believe that's the end of the agenda. Oh my God. Okay, is there a public comment section? You do have it on the agenda. So are there any public comments at this time? We'll entertain. You have 3 minutes. Please raise your hand. Any comments in the chat? Oh, what's his name?
Hi, I am Felix. I am new in this area, and I come to this meeting for to know what the people they doing in this area. I'm grateful. That's all that I had to say.
Well, welcome, Mr. Felix. Could you just state your address for the record?
Okay. If you need me, I am volunteer for anything.
Okay.
You're very welcome.
So you said you're new to the town. What street do you live on?
I just live right here in the
Cottage Terrace?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Very close.
Okay, well, thank you. Welcome to Cottage City.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll see you again.
Okay.
Any comments in the chat?
Amy Sawyer also would like to speak.
Okay, Ms. Sawyer, you have 3 minutes.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. I'm not sure I fully understand, and I'm sorry, I'll put my video on. I'm not sure I fully understand the timeline for the budget. So I didn't see, for example, a line item about having meetings translated. I know in the Green Team, we've had some discussions. I've had some discussions about some projects that I'm still hoping to initiate for the town for this year. Have we passed the deadline to add things? Can we still add things? Is there a good way to communicate that information to either John or the council as a whole? If you could publish an actual timeline, that would be really helpful. One of the things that I just saw in Mount Rainier was that they are voting tonight, I guess, about making some money available for students at Mount Rainier Elementary and Thomas Stone. I know our boundary school, elementary school, is Mount Rainier. If that kind of thing is also up for discussion, I would love not just our boundary elementary school, but our middle school, our high school. I would love to have those teachers acknowledged as well. We're outliers in that we're new to this reboundering, but it would be nice to be able to publicly appreciate the teachers and schools that are out there. Thank you.
So, in the past, we have done that when we had our students going to Roger Heights. We did treat all the teachers to lunch. We bought them sandwiches. I think I don't know, Chief, if you went to that or not, but we've done that before in the past, so it's not something new. I don't think anyone would object to us doing that again.
And I also want to say, Amy, Elizabeth, the acting office manager, has gotten some quotes for translation, and that will also be discussed at the next meeting. We didn't have them ready for this meeting tonight, so that is on our agenda to bring that forth. So.
I appreciate that really so much, John. It's really an important issue for me. But is there a public timeline for the budget? I apologize that I'm not fluent in town governance. We have one reading, then there are comments, then a second reading. When is the budget actually finalized? And when should any submissions completed by?
So if you look online on the new website, which is exciting, and you check out the first resolution for 2025, there was the budget calendar. And the budget calendar kind of lays out the foundation as to how we're building the budget. And then we've also allocated extra dates in there so that if we did not get the readings done, we did not get the business done, we can move it forward. The budget does have to be passed by a certain date because we have to let the county know so that they can prepare the taxes and things of that sort. So that is the reason why there's always this urgent need to get the budget passed. So that's what we're trying to do. We're moving it forward.
And what's the date? It's the end of June?
I think it's the middle of June. Todd, do you know the date offhand? He might have already left. Yeah, because they've got
Can you check to see if he's still on there?
I think he's already left.
I think Todd already left. But, I mean, the schedule is on the website.
It is. It's on the website.
So, Amy, I would suggest you probably just go look at the website. The whole calendar is there. All right. Any other comments in the chat? Thank you for your comment, Amy. Any other questions or comments in the chat?
Not that I'm seeing.
All right. So that's the end of our agenda. We do need to go into a closed session. I do not have the closed session form in front of me, but I do need a motion to suspend the rules to vote to go into closed session.
I make a motion to suspend the rules to go into closed session. Commissioner Givens.
Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Givens, for making the motion, and Commissioner Brooks for your second. We will call for the votes, starting with Ward 1.
Young, aye.
Mr. Henderson, your vote to suspend the rules?
Yes, you have my vote.
Okay, Commissioner Givens, I'm gonna need your vote.
I'm sorry.
Wheatley, aye.
Givens, aye.
Brooks, aye.
Motion passes. There were no nays or abstentions. We are now getting ready to go into a closed session. But before we go into closed session, I would like to go into a 5-minute recess, if folks don't mind. I need to use the ladies' room. All right, so we're going to take a 5-minute recess. Thank you.